I wonder if we could begin by getting a sense of each of your individual relationships with resilience. And Rebecca, perhaps I could start with you. We might think of Harvard Business School as essentially being capitalism central. It's responsible for many of the ideas that have really guided capitalism over the last many decades. What was it that initially set you off in a fairly new trajectory for your career that has culminated in this new approach of engaging business leaders in reimagining that capitalism in the first place?
I spent the first 20 years of my research studying innovation in very large firms. I was the Kodak Professor of Management at MIT. And for those who can't remember what Kodak was, in its time, it was one of the most successful companies in the world. And 15 years ago, it went bankrupt. And that was complete coincidence, but that's what I studied. Why is it that very large organizations have trouble doing new things? And my brother is a freelance environmental journalist, and about 15 years ago, he started sending me the research about climate change. And my first thought was that I should just quit, that I was just oiling the wheels of corporate capitalism and we needed, I should be an activist. So, Rita, I was thinking I should be doing what you're doing or something like that. But it was my friends in the climate sector who persuaded me to stay on. They said, business could play an enormous role. And I came to believe that decarbonizing the world's economy was both absolutely necessary, that there's a huge business case for it, that we put the health of the entire economy at risk if we don't transform capitalism in this direction. So that there was a business case, but it was a collective business case. And, you don't normally think business collective action. That's not how we think about this. So I got hugely interested in the relationship between capitalism and government, between firms and institutions, and deeply concerned that the story we had been telling ourselves at so many business schools was the job of a business person was to put their head down, maximize profits, that would drive prosperity, that was your job. And I came increasingly to believe that that wasn't right. The business, in fact, had a crucially important role to play in beginning to act collectively, in beginning to try to rebuild our institutions and to try and make a difference. And because I studied innovation, I'm deeply aware of how hard this is. So, for me, this is all about systemic change and the role that the private sector can play as an ally in transforming our entire economy in the ways that we need to, if we are to thrive and prosper going forward.